When it comes to Naruto and all the characters who have ever existed in the franchise, Neji Hyuga is one character who there have been multiple times in Boruto era. You've likely found yourself asking, what if Neji never died? Would he and Tenten be married and would they have kids? How strong would Neji have gotten if he was allowed 16 years to train? How would Neji feel if he was able to see all the changes that were made to the Hyuga clan as a result of Naruto marrying Hinata? For instance, the barbaric but for a long time necessary curse mark that the side branch members were forced to have, that's been banished from the clan now. Children like Himawari, who despite all the potential they've shown as shinobi, get allowed the opportunity to choose if they want to serve the clan, if they want to become a shinobi, or even if they want to go their own route separate of the clan itself. There are quite a few things that you look at and wonder, how would Neji have prospered if he would have been alive in Boruto? Well, the truth is that Naruto, the very man who Neji gave his life up for in order to protect, Naruto has had a few moments where he's wished for Neji to be alive, like the instance that we're going to cover in today's video. The information comes to us from the Naruto Retsuden story, which is set in the Boruto era after the events of the Mujina Bandits arc and the Sasuke Retsuden story, but before the events of the Vessel arc. While dealing with the same chakra illness that Hagoromo had, the Sage of Six Paths, terminally ill and unable to use chakra properly, Naruto has a moment where he's reading the journal left behind by Neji, which meticulously details all of Neji's trainings to master his Byakugan, including how he figured out all the movements of the Hyuga clan's hidden jutsu, which was restricted to only being taught to members of the main branch, and Neji himself wasn't formally taught at first, as well as all the private moments that Neji wrote about. Naruto found himself on top of the Hokage monument, training and following the steps that Neji wrote inside of that journal, so as to get better accustomed to the ninja tech goggles that Orochimaru made that takes Hinata's chakra and seals it into the goggles to allow the wearer to use the Byakugan at the expense of Hinata being unable to use chakra while the goggles are cut on. Naruto uses the training to distract himself from both the chakra illness until Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi can find a cure in the land of Ridaku, but also as a bit of a challenge because up until this moment in time, Naruto had no idea how difficult it was to use a dojutsu until now. As he begins training on top of the Hokage monument, Naruto continues to struggle with the Byakugan goggles and the sensory overload that comes from having the Byakugan, despite him being secluded on top of the Hokage monument and facing away from the central business district on top of the monument, which has businesses and luxury apartments and establishments. It's during this time that Naruto finds himself praising Neji's genius and wishing that one of his very first rivals was actually alive so that he could speak to him and so Naruto could seek training from him. With the scene and the context being set, it's here I'm going to begin reading the scene from the novel, then I'm going to come back to you guys my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. Like a dam breaking, his optic nerves became overloaded with tremendous momentum. Easy does it. Sift through it. You don't have to look at everything. First birds. Find a bird. Naruto looked around at his surroundings. Earth, rock, grass. There it is. There was a small blue bird within a bush. Not just one, 2 birds, 3 birds. In total, 5 birds. After confirming the number, he reached his limit. It's no good. Naruto lifted up the goggles with brute force as he was about to fall over. Naruto's voice surprised the birds, causing them to fly away. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. There's 8 birds, Naruto shouted. Naruto set his butt down on the ground where he stood. He had overlooked 3 more birds. He still had a long way to go. Looking up at the clouds that slowly moved across the sky, he suddenly let out a sigh. The blood vessels in his temples were steadily beating strong. He didn't think it'd be this difficult to handle. Neji never let it show that he had any difficulties, if he even had any at all. That guy, he really was a genius, Naruto said. He gathered all his focus and pointed it towards his focal target. He ignored what he could hear and smell and focusing only what was visible. Naruto kept reading Neji's nostalgic handwriting in the journal given to him late last night. As he thought about if Neji was alive, he'd be able to directly teach him. The inner corner of his eyes suddenly grew hot, making him give a few wrinkles on Hinata's precious keepsake notebook. End quote. Now, I just want to say this. The inner corner of Naruto's eyes suddenly growing hot, our boy was moved to tears thinking about Neji. So one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that when Naruto is Hokage, there are more than one instance that haven't been adapted into the anime where Naruto has moments where he's sitting back and he's reflecting on the people who sacrificed themselves in order to allow Naruto to walk across the bridge to become Hokage, basically being what Conan referred to as them giving their lives up in order to be pillars, so Naruto could walk across the bridge and into the future that would change the ninja world. And one of those pillars, one of those sacrifices was Neji Hyuga, and there are times where Naruto reflects on it and thinks of Neji in particular in the same vein as Jiraiya and Naruto's own parents, and Naruto has moments where the emotion does start to creep in. And so I like what we get here because this is just another human moment for Naruto. This is looking beneath the layers of Naruto Uzumaki the character and looking at Naruto Uzumaki as a really human-esque character, not some supernatural being who has the power to blow up entire continents. We're seeing a very raw and emotional Naruto right here. So what I like about this scene right here is that Naruto is at the age of 33 years old, and despite being a Hokage, still realizes that there's a lot more for him to learn. He longed to be near his one-time former rival to a point where Naruto's even worked up to borderline tears because the detail in which Neji took notes was enough for even someone like Naruto, who wasn't a member of the Hyuga clan, was at least able to grasp some of the basics of using the Byakugan and learning some of the movements that came from that fighting style. However, the strain that comes from using it and the fact that Naruto is missing birds directly in his field of vision, not even in the blind spot of the Byakugan, was enough to show him that there was still so much more he needed help with. Naruto using those goggles looked back at all the times he saw Neji using the Byakugan and realized how effortlessly Neji made it appear. Even though Neji was a member of the Hyuga clan, even Hinata's own father said Neji's genius was something special even for the Hyuga clan. Naruto, 16 years after Neji's death, could see the value in what Neji could have offered in this moment, but also the fact that by dying so young in Neji's life, Neji could have grown a lot stronger because Neji wasn't even in his prime yet. Neji was only 18 years old. Finally, with this moment, Naruto's words reveal that with something like this illness that he's been keeping from his family and from the general public, Naruto at the very least would have leveled with Neji if it meant that Neji could help him with those goggles, putting Neji on that very short list of people who knew the truth about what was going on with him. Shizune, Sakura, Orochimaru, Kakashi, and Sasuke, and unbeknownst to Naruto, even Naruto's own wife had figured out what was happening, but was willing to wait for Naruto to tell her himself with what was going on, and she trusted if Naruto wasn't telling her, then Naruto had his reasons, but she was still supporting Naruto from behind the scenes nonetheless, without Naruto even realizing it. Now, I love this because it makes you wonder, what if Neji never died? However, that's gonna be it for this edition of Naruto Retsuden. Click here to watch my What If Neji Never Died video, or click here to watch these other videos from the Naruto Retsuden playlist.